Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to be the one to break this to you, but apparently, Call of Duty is dead. Okay, no, of course, Call of Duty is not dead, but I have seen so many comments, tweets, and everything in between lately going around that idea that Call of Duty is dead, nobody is playing it, and there's a lot of things to support that. In fact, today, Black Ops 3 is actually outselling Modern Warfare 2 on Steam, which is of course a pretty big deal. That's a years and years old game, and it's beating a game that came out this year. That's obviously a very big deal. So there's obviously something wrong here. And I wanted to make this video to discuss, number one, what exactly is that thing? Because I've seen a lot of theories, whether it's the in-game mechanics, the way the game plays, what they've been adding, the microtransactions, everything like that. But I don't actually think that's the case. And then I want to talk about the Call of Duty killer, which is XDefiant, a game that I have not yet talked about on this channel, but I think has some very important parts to prove when it comes to Call of Duty, not just XDefiant in itself, but Call of Duty as a whole. So there's a lot to talk about here, but first I want to start out with some theories that I've heard as to why Call of Duty is dying. So I want to be clear right away. Call of Duty is not dying, and the only thing killing it is itself. It's not another game beating it out. It is killing itself at its own game, if that kind of makes any sense. But I wanted to take a deeper look at actually why. And the first thing I wanted to look at was nostalgia. Do people just miss Verdansk? Do they want to play the old map? Do they not like what is currently the setting in the game? So I went on Twitter, and if you don't follow me on Twitter, it's linked down below. You should check it out. And ask the question, if you have stopped playing Call of Duty, if Warzone 2 brought back Verdansk, would you be playing it again? And I did not expect the response that I got. I expected a bunch of people to say, yes, I miss Verdansk. It would bring me back. The nostalgia would be good. But that is not the case. Almost everyone that responded had something along the lines of, no, I don't like the way Warzone 2 plays. It has nothing to do with the map. The map doesn't matter. It is simply the way that the game plays. And the mass majority of this was exactly that. Almost no one said that they would actually go back and play the game, which absolutely shocked me. So the issue isn't nostalgia. The next thing that people are saying is it's the way that the game plays. And this is the one that I'm probably going to catch some slack for because I don't necessarily agree with it. Yes, there is movement issues. Yes, there is certain flow issues to the game that I don't agree with. However, let me ask you this. If you play the game currently or have stopped playing the game currently, and there's something about the movement or gunplay or something like this that you don't like, if you were to take that one thing and just change that one thing, would you really be coming back to play the game? And I'm guessing the answer is, oh yeah, I'd give it a shot, but I'm guessing shortly after that, you'd be like, okay, well, they fixed that, but still, I don't want to play the game. I truly don't believe that the reason people play games are for individual mechanics. It's a game as a whole. And my opinion is that people aren't not playing Call of Duty because they don't like how it was made or anything like that, even though there are massive issues with that. Lack of communication, not changing the things people want, and making their own decisions that have nothing to do with the community are a very, very big problem, and don't worry, we'll get to that. But I think the majority of what I am seeing is that people are just bored of Call of Duty. But this is absolutely not the first time that this happened. And in fact, this happened a long time ago with Call of Duty Ghosts. When Call of Duty Ghosts was released, yes, there was problems with it. The time to kill was too fast. There was many other issues. The maps weren't great, so on and so forth. However, when Call of Duty Ghosts was released, it wasn't a horrible game. I truly just believe that people were sick of the current Call of Duty formula. And yeah, it wasn't as good as the predecessors, but still, I think it wasn't that the game was that awful. I think they were just sick of the same thing over and over again. And then the game was rejuvenated when Advanced Warfare came in. Supply drops were introduced. Yes, people hate them now, but back then they were pretty cool. And on top of that, Advanced Movement was added in. It refreshed Call of Duty and added not just a fresh coat of paint, but a fresh new feel to the game. And all of a sudden, people were reinvigorated to play again. But that wasn't the last time that that happened, because this happened once again with Infinite Warfare. Infinite Warfare came out. There was a couple of jetpack Call of Duties that came out, and all of a sudden people were getting bored of that, and people hated that game. Again, I don't think it was the worst game in the world. It definitely wasn't good, but I don't think it was the worst game in the world. And people were like, hey, we don't like this anymore. And then they went back to boots on the ground Call of Duty, and once again, the game reinvigorated. People want to play again. I think where we're at right now is we've had the same formula for so long. And the way that I look at it is Call of Duty has pretty much been the exact same game since Modern Warfare 2019. Yes, they can change perks, they can change maps, they can change aesthetics, but overall, the way it feels, the way it plays is exactly the same. And I simply think people are just bored of that. Same with Battle Royale. Since Warzone 1 came out, people were like, this is awesome. This is the next big thing. But we've had the same thing for such a long time. You can put in new maps, you can add new mechanics, you can change characters. But at the end of the day, overall, it's almost the same game. Now, the scariest part of all of this is that the next game set to come out is believed to be either like Modern Warfare 2.5 or Modern Warfare 3, which is supposed to be basically an expansion for Modern Warfare 2, and you could expect that the game is more of the same. So what the heck do they do about that? If the game's already dying and they're basically putting out an expansion as a premium release, they are screwed. But hear me out. If they were to do just a couple of little things, if they were to say that red dots were added to the minimaps, if they were to say skill-based matchmaking is gone, it is only there in ranked play, which is going to be there at launch, if they were to say that we are having Battle Royale, but it's going to be completely different in one way or another, that is how they get people to come out. They're not going to get more people to play by releasing the same game with a couple of little changes like they have for the past 4 years. So this is where XDefiant comes in. Over the past couple of weeks, there's been a beta going on for this game, and I didn't make any videos on it. I did play it. However, I didn't make any videos on it because I kind of wanted to see the overall feedback of the game and then put out my own ideas with it. And as far as this game went, it was a good game. It was a good first-person shooter, and it felt like old school Call of Duty. Remember how I was saying that Black Ops 3 is currently outselling Modern Warfare 2? I think the reason for that is because Black Ops 3 actually feels most like XDefiant. I think people played that game and were like, I want a game like that. Let's go back to Black Ops 3, because Call of Duty doesn't feel like that game anymore. And let's be honest, it's not a Call of Duty killer whatsoever. It is a Call of Duty-alike game. And will it take people away from Call of Duty when it eventually comes out? Potentially, but there's definitely also problems with the game. The netcode isn't great. You get shot around the corners all the time, and it just doesn't quite feel as polished as Call of Duty is the best way I could describe it. But it is a lot of fun. Way more fun than Modern Warfare 2, in my opinion. And I think the main reason for that is not what a lot of people are saying. I think the specialists add a lot of fun to it. I think kill streaks would make it even more fun. Hey, I could be wrong there. But I think the biggest thing is they've listened to things that people want from old Call of Duty games. Skill-based matchmaking. Let me tell you, I wasn't the biggest for or against skill-based matchmaking, but if you didn't play XDefiant, when it comes out, play it. It's a free-to-play game. Probably Call of Duty should be free to play as well. I think that would do huge things for Call of Duty as well. But anyway, different conversation for a different day. But when you play XDefiant, you're going to notice that you get into some games where you are just getting destroyed. You get into other games where you're the best player in the lobby, and you get in other games where you kind of just fit in. But it's random. It's not the same thing every single game. And I think that is the biggest mistake Call of Duty is making. Every single game you get into Call of Duty, it's the exact same thing, the exact same style of players, the exact same skill level of players. And it just gets so boring because of that. There's no variation to how people are playing. It is the same thing over and over and over again. And we've had this problem over the past couple of years where everyone just plays shipment. And I truly believe that is because it is the most fast-paced game mode. And it doesn't matter who you're playing against because it's just constant action. If there wasn't skill-based matchmaking, I think that alone would cause other people to play other maps because not every game would just be the exact same. Hey, that's just my opinion. There's other things XDefiant does as well. Red dots on the mini maps, fast-paced action, different game modes, only skill-based matchmaking and ranked play. There is already ranked play in the beta. They're making a lot of good decisions. And then the biggest one is just community feedback. They are immediately answering problems that people have with the game. And they're not fixing them immediately. They even tweeted things out saying, hey, our netcode sucks. We know it. This is a beta. The game's not coming out anytime soon. That's why we put out a beta. We want to fix this so you guys will enjoy it. Amazing response. They don't have to fix it right away. They can just come back and be like, yeah, it sucks. We know. We're fixing it, okay? We're working on it. And that is where Call of Duty is really, really suffering. Just whenever a big update comes out, a huge influx of players come to the game. A lot of people buy microtransactions. They're doing very good on that front. However, when people come back, they are not staying because I truly believe it's just not fun anymore to go through that grind every single time you're playing the game. And again, it comes back to community feedback. How long has it been now since people have been asking for no skill-based matchmaking? When have they addressed it? Find me one single tweet or mention from Activision or any of the developers about skill-based matchmaking. Even if they were to come out and say, yeah, skill-based matchmaking is there. We find that it increases player retention, and that is why it's in the game. I'd at least be okay with that. I wouldn't be happy, but I'd be okay with it. But hey, that doesn't seem to be what we're getting, so who knows? I like to always try to give answers as to what the developers could actually do. If they came out and said, you know what, Modern Warfare 2.5, we're releasing all these new maps, all these new weapons. It's going to be an extension on Modern Warfare 2, but here's what we're doing. Skill-based matchmaking is gone. It is a free-to-play game. And on top of that, there's red dots on the minimap. What do you think the response to that would be? Remember the last time they released a free-to-play Call of Duty, Warzone 1? Remember how big that game was? Well, the choice is in their hands, and I'm curious to see what they do with it. But is Call of Duty dead? No, absolutely not. And we're getting Season 3 reloaded next week, so there'll be a big influx of players once again. I'm just overall frustrated with what people are saying about it, and I think a lot of the opinions out there are just straight up wrong. But this was mine. I tried to cohesively put it together. Hopefully I did. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And if you enjoyed, hit that like button. If you're new, subscribe, notifications, all of that jazz. But as always, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're made